Steph Curry's not human.
Actually, he is human though.
No, that's not human. That
That's
is
a
not a
human
human being that I just saw.
He's a human being. That's like,
No, he's not. He's not. He's not at all.
that was crazy.
That was insane. Let's get into it. Box scores. The Warriors beat the Grizzlies 134-125. Like I said, Steph Curry, not human. Jimmy Butler 27 and 6. Draymond had a triple-double. Ja with 36. Jaren Jackson had 22. Desmond Bane with 19 and 5. And the Warriors leapfrog the Memphis Grizzlies in the standings. The Grizzlies continue to tumble. Kwab, I don't know what's going on with the Grizzlies. We'll get into that in a second. But today, it's hard not to start the discussion with Steph Curry. I don't know about you. He also had 10 rebounds and 8 assists. Holy crap.
Almost a triple-double. Almost a triple-double.
Insane, man. I mean, the notes that I have to start the game are like, Steph, exclamation point, 19 points, 5 of 6 3-pointer shooting. Like, I thought that would probably be it. And then, of course, Moody starting on Ja. That's the notes that I have. Ja hit a couple tough shots in the beginning, ended up having a really good game. But, like, I can't think of anything else to talk about in this game aside from Steph Curry. What a freaking performance. The way that they were guarding them, Kizzo and I were watching the game together. And they were like, Desmond Bane at some point was literally, you're supposed to be basket you, man. It was basically basket Steph Bane. Was like giving him open lanes for layups. Yeah. They were just guarding the 3-point line. Like, and again, like that's what makes the Warriors so difficult when Steph is hitting these shots. It's like you have to literally change your coverages. There's so much gravity with the split action. And the Warriors didn't really capitalize too much on it in the second half or after the first quarter. They had a really good first quarter. Quentin Post played well in the first half. He hit some threes. But aside from that, like, the other guys aside from Jimmy Butler really didn't contribute too much to the game. But it still makes it just almost impossible to guard this team when he's shooting like that. The fact that the Grizzlies almost pulled this off is actually a miracle to me.
I mean, yeah, the Grizzlies kind of stayed in the game. You felt like I think years past, if Steph was having this kind of game, it would be like it's over.
Yeah, it'd be like sit the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
he had 45 points like back in the day, like during like the prime Splash Brother days. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been a wrap, but like I guess that's the NBA now. I mean, even Kayvon Looney hit a 3, so I mean that was kind of
2 for 2 on the year, baby.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He was shooting threes in UCLA.
He looked like Kevin Durant when he was like
that's
UCLA.
What they called him. That's what. Yeah, they would call him that.
I remember seeing his high school and his college highlights, and I'm like, this is not the same old man that plays for the Golden State Warriors. No. But to Steph's performance, great game by him. Like 52 points is ridiculous. He probably could have had more. It's kind of crazy to say he kind of went cold after the hot stretch he had in the first set. But like, at least they started paying more attention to him. There were a couple of times in the first quarter, in the first half, where the Grizzlies were kind of in drop coverage. A couple of times, like Edie was just all the way backed up, and it was just a simple screen and pop. And I'm like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are y'all? You know who this man is. Like, what are y'all doing? But, that aside, and even though it's a big that aside, Steph was Steph. Draymond played his usual game, and Butler, 27 points, great game. I think the problem that the Warriors are going to face now is like, who else can they get to step up as they progress through the season, as they progress during the playoffs? Moody had some moments. Was it Brandon Pazinski? He had the big tip in, and he had some moments too. But I feel like they need somebody else, more consistent play from one other person or somebody else just to progress like where they want to be.
That guy, and he was out today. So, like, that might be a big reason, why we didn't really see that. I think Moses Moody has the ability, to chip in here and there. I'm not saying he's, like, give the ball to Moody and watch him work. But I am a Moody fan. I think Quentin Post has kind of been a revelation. He's someone who can, like, stretch the floor. When he was on the floor, Jaren Jackson's away from the hoop. It's a big reason why they couldn't really protect the paint in the way that they wanted to. And Quentin was hitting 3, too, in the first half especially. So, I think he's a valuable member. They definitely have pieces here. But you're right. I think they need that one more spark because Draymond affects the game, but he doesn't affect the game in the sense where he's putting the ball in the hoop. Yeah. He had double digits today, but he doesn't always have double digits. You might need that third scorer, and I think they're looking for Kaminga to be that. He was out today, and they still got the W.
I mean, for me, start the year. Sorry to cut you off, but start the year, it was looking like it was going to be Buddy Hield, and he's kind of like just.
Well, Wiggins too. Like Wiggins
yeah,
got off to a better start too.
True.
Yeah. True. What do you think about Memphis, man? I mean, They've lost 8 out of their last 10. They're slipping in the standings. They fired their coach while you and I were on a hiatus,
Yeah.
which is wild to do a couple weeks before the season. You could say whatever you want about Taylor Jenkins and the way that he coaches, or if you're a Grizzlies fan, if you had problems with who he was. That's still insane to me to fire a coach weeks before a season.
I think when we all got that notification, we're kind of confused. We're like, wait, now? But it was kind of weird to see a lot of Grizzlies fans on the timeline being like, finally. Yeah, right. It's just, I was like, wait. I'm like, it would have made more sense, like, before the All-Star break, like right after the All-Star break, or maybe in the off season. But to do it like you're about to go into playoffs. You're a playoff team essentially, and you're just what they have left, like 10 or so many games left.
Yeah.
And just to be like, okay, you're fired. I was like, wait, what is happening?
Yeah. And honestly, I didn't see much difference between. I mean, you said in the when we were talking about the game before I hit record how Ja's a little off ball more. But as far as like pick and rolls and different sets, and I'm not gonna lie, I watched the game with a friend and we were like really having a back and forth about certain things. Yeah. But I didn't notice anything that much different with this Grizzlies offense, if I'm being honest with you. And the defense still can't stop anybody. I mean, a big reason why I think Taylor was fired was because they did get off to a good start defensively to start the year, but then they fell to like 20th in the league defensively. And granted, a big reason why they didn't play well defensively today was Steph Curry. Yeah. Still can't stop anybody, it seems like. Yeah, I mean,
that's partly confusing just because Jaren Jackson Jr. has been having like a good defensive, was it a defensive player of the year kind of candidate, the way he's been playing. Their rookie Jalen Wells has been like defensively, and that's a two-way player. He's been excellent. Actually, I remember the last Memphis Golden State game I watched, he kind of gave Curry trouble, not trouble, but like he basically was sticking to Curry like glue. Like he didn't leave Steph Curry the whole game. Like he just pressured him after makes, misses, or whatever. And that's what he's been known for. But yeah, the firing came at a weird time, and then the kind of thing you kept hearing was like, oh, they're gonna go back to more pick and rolls and the ball being Ja's hands more. I guess compared to other games, the ball was in his hands. I mean, he did put up 36 points. He made a big impact in the game, but late in the game, he had a couple like sloppy turnovers where he like left. He was in the air and kind of was trying to find Edie, and there were kind of like sloppy turnovers. But with this team, I think the one thing they had before they fired the coach was how deep they would go in their rotation. Sometimes they would go like 12 deep, which I was like, that's insane for a game. Like, but with the way they ran every play and had like this wide open offense, it was kind of working out. Even though every time we watched and try to recap Memphis, we were like, we don't like this offense. We said that multiple times. We're like, something about this feels off.
But it's like no one like they'll run pick and roll every once. I don't want to make it seem like they don't run pick and roll or they don't run sets or actions. Yeah. But for the most part, it's just like perimeter passing. You can take a man one-on-one. You do it. You know, we're going to try to get threes up early. And I'm not saying that's necessarily bad all the time, but it can't be like the majority of your offense.
Yeah. I mean, the other, like, the one thing that was able to come out of it was, like, you had players like Santi Aldama, even, like, earlier on in the year, like, Luke Kennard was starting a point guard. Like, I use that very usually. But he played very well. Scottie Pippen Jr. was playing. So it kind of, I guess it built your bench up, like, giving them all opportunity. But it was anytime we would watch Memphis, we'd be like, we don't know about this. Maybe the ball should be in Ja's hands more because he is supposed to be your best player, and it should be like Ja and Jaren like basically being the center of your offense.
Right.
But now, I mean, like you said, it didn't feel that much different, which is kind of makes sense. You can't flip your whole offense in like 10 games or your whole like that you've been running the whole year. You can't just switch it up like that. You've been doing this for how long? So
why fire the coach?
Exactly.
It just doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make sense. So I mean, are you just looking at the rest of the year like this is just a trial run for this new coach and maybe what the future will hold?
Implement anything? You know what I mean? I mean, maybe you see them play hard for him, and they played hard. Like the Grizzlies went down early in this game. It was and packed it in.
Yeah, it ended up being a winnable game for them. It felt like a playoff game. Like
Yeah,
it ended
it
up being
did.
a winnable game. Yeah.
It did. Are you concerned at all for the Grizzlies, like, going into the play-in? I don't know what the standings look like now. I know the Warriors just leapfrogged them, though. And there are still a few games left. The standings are so tight. The Key-Wolves are playing the Nuggets right now, so that's another team that could leapfrog them. Like, is it...
Do you? I don't know because like okay, let's say even if they're not even in the play-in, they're in the regular playoff standard, right? Is this
Yeah.
a team you trust to win to beat a team in a 7-game series, or is it
No.
matchup dependent?
No.
Like no, like
There's not
so.
even a matchup out there that I would... Like, I would take the Rockets over them. I would take the Nuggets over them. I'd take the Lakers over them. Like, I don't even know who I could possibly have them play in the first round where I'm like, I'll take the Grizzlies.
But that's like that's how I feel too. But at the same time, this team is so talented, like top to bottom. Like for them to for us to feel that way. Like we're talking about the pieces they have from their point guard, like every position. They have somebody.
Yeah.
And they have a deep bench.
Yeah.
But when we look at them, we're like question mark every time.
Yeah. But to be fair to them,
Yeah.
I feel like there's like a bunch of question marks for every team in the West outside of the Thunder. And I said this yesterday when I did the Rockets recap, like kind of like a why not the Rockets or like why not the Lakers? Like why not the Grizzlies? Why not the Warriors? Like there is no team in the West outside the Thunder that I feel very comfortable with as far as like them being consistent and them not having an Achilles heel that to me is very accessible and easy for a team to exploit. You know, there are a lot of good teams in the West, but they're very imperfect. And I don't know what I feel about a lot. I don't know how I feel about the Lakers still. You know, they've lost to really bad teams. They beat good teams. LeBron and Luka really haven't played together or been healthy together. You know what I mean? Is Jackson Hayes going to be the 5? You know, with the Warriors, too. The Warriors have been on fire since they got Jimmy Butler. But, you know, are they going to get that third guy in Kuminga? What does that look like? You know, there's so many questions. I don't know who I necessarily like, but I do know I don't like the Grizzlies, which is funny.
Which is like, but it's crazy to me because there's no chance of them like, quote unquote, like flipping a switch or whatever. But you look at the team. They have Ja, who's an all-star point guard. Jaren Jackson Jr., like one of the best two-way big men. Zach Edey, like there are moments where he looks unstoppable, like when he's used the right way. They have shooting. Like,
they have one of the highest rated offenses in the league. The offense isn't the problem right now. The
exactly.
defense has been the problem. And
But
honestly, their half court offense is a little bit at the end of the games, like you said today, like Ja getting caught in the air, turning the ball over. Then they went Desmond Bane kind of running the offense with Ja kind of on the side. Like they have to figure something out there. For me, it's just obvious. Run a pick and roll with Jackson, like Ja and Jackson. Run a pick and roll there. Have him cutting or popping because he can hit the 3.
Yeah.
Have Ja read it. Desmond Bane's on the wing. Like, let's go. Like, this is easy. Come on. You have the personnel for this. Why aren't you doing this every single time in the in the half court?
You just want them to spam it. Just spam the. But that's just what I'm saying. Like having when you look at the stats, they have one of the highest rated offenses, but at the same time, when we watch them, we're like, I don't like this offense.
Right, because there's like no imagination to it. It's too simple. I'm not saying simple's not good, but it's just like, again, and this is the problem I have with the Rockets. It's like in the half court when things slow down at the end of games, do I trust them to execute or to do well in the half court more than a team like the Lakers or the Nuggets, the Warriors? And the answer is no.
Yeah.
This is a game that the Grizzlies are winning this game with a few minutes left to go in the game.
Yeah.
Then things got tight. The Warriors were able to figure things out on the half court, in the half court, and the Grizzlies were not. That's
is
why
this switching real quick back to the Warriors? Is there like a little bit of I guess like a red flag when you see Steph have this type of game, but still like you're kind of like fighting to win the game?
Yeah. A little disappointing in them defensively. Again, they're playing a Grizzlies team that likes to, they push the pace. They take a lot of threes, and they've been good offensively all year. But again, like you said, like this was a type of game like back in their prime or whatever, like the championship years where, all right, this game is 25-point game going into the fourth, it's over. And Steph's not playing in the fourth.
Yeah, third quarter, like it just ends up being a wrap. You're right.
Yeah. But again, like they have such an impressive record since Jimmy Butler has joined the team, and also like we're knocking the Grizzlies right now. They just went on the road to be the Grizzlies team that has 40+ wins on the season.
True.
It's not like that. It's not like the Grizzlies are like the Charlotte Hornets.
Can we go an episode without you
bro?
taking shots?
I need to make
At
a
the
compilation
Hornets.
of me just taking shots.
Oh my god, bro!
It's the first bad team I always think of. I don't know.
Oh, you're like every time the Charlotte. Like, they don't suck as much as the every time you always go to the Hornets. There's worse teams than the Hornets. You always go to the Hornets.
There are.
You always go to they're so mean.
I don't know why.
Oh.
All right. Well, tomorrow the Knicks play the Cavs, so Kwab and I are going to review that. That's going to be a lot of fun to watch me cry on stream. But make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the video. Let us know what games you want us to recap. Power rankings are to be coming at the end of the week. I had bronchitis. My birthday was here. Kwab was out for a little bit. That's why we went on hiatus. But we are back, ladies and gentlemen. The dime is back. Kwab, it's nice to talk to you again, man.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
I missed you, bro. I mean, we texted, but I haven't talked to you.
Yeah, it's been a while. So glad we're back. Glad we're back, bro.
And shout out to everybody who messaged us. We had a few messages on Twitter, some DMs. So shout out to you and a couple comments too, which, I mean, for us is greatly appreciated because we've been doing this. Well, this is your second year doing this show with me?
No, it's like third
year doing the show.
Yeah,
I started the podcast
fully.
back in 2017. It was just a dime with Josh Rodriguez, and there's a lot. I might have to do a video about the history about this podcast because it's actually pretty interesting.
It's been a journey, but we appreciate
journey, man.
We appreciate everybody that's been tuning in. We appreciate the comments. Make sure to leave comments, suggestions, all that. Josh reads them. I'm not gonna say we read them. Josh reads them, and then we'll definitely try to be more consistent as the season winds down.
That's gonna do it. Warriors beat the Grizzlies 134-125. Kwab and I will be back tomorrow to make fun of the Knicks for losing to the Cavs. Until then, stay tuned for another episode of The Dime. Peace.